Welcome back to Gran Jacramito in the Pedroche Valley of Andalusia, Spain. Our little vetiver patch here, with a little bit of water, is growing quite well. It might not be as impressive as in a production facility, but it's working. Well, we are getting ready to transfer the pigs to their job sites, but of course there is no rush because first we need to have some rain. They are being kept here in this area and receive a special feed so that their skeleton can grow well, and so later when they become fatter, their body can sustain the weight. And at the same time they learn about the electric fence, and so managing them will then be a lot easier. Of course, it would be nice to use our own feed that came from our own land to feed them. But at the time being, that's impossible because of the situation of the land. Going forward, that is the goal. I think there's nothing wrong by using what is available and what is proven. You don't have to reinvent the wheel for every little thing. And so it is with the feed for those guys. But then, when these guys arrived, we could all see a glimpse of the future, when they were basically disappearing in all the forage that was there. But of course, by now, it is all trampled, eaten, and with the temperature and no rain, nothing will grow here until they are out. But then, we will seed this area again. This here is the oldest swale that we have. It was dug basically in the very first days. There is a madroño and also another one and another one on the other side. They are surviving without water, and we even have some blueberries. The water here in this little patch of Vetiver, what used to be the pig's pond, has disappeared, but this will very, very soon receive some drip irrigation so that it stays alive and spreads. This here is the opposite side of the swale, and we have started to plant some palovnias. You can spot the pipe for the drip irrigation. We are walking around to take inventory of our irrigation capabilities. We want to know which shut-off valves we have where, what we have installed, so that we can regulate the pressure in a smarter way. Angel is talking about the rain. If we had received a little bit more early on when this was planted, probably a lot more would look a lot better, like this one. Those tall ones with their taproot got access to the water that is inside the ground. Today is the day when the 2 tuberculosis positive animals are being transferred to the slaughterhouse. There is no way to cure a herd animal from tuberculosis. It would have to be kept for months in isolation, and that would be very cruel. And we are doing this on order by the government. There is no way out. These two have to go. Tuberculosis is an infectious disease that needs to be reported to the authorities. It is spread by saliva, and when they share the water source, they will also infect each other, and it is being done in order to protect the rest of the herd. Just the same way as the bulls will kill a herd member that has been hurt and is bleeding in order to protect the herd from predators.
Uno de ellos estaba cojo y se vino para atrás. Está regando, no le pasó nada, pero está mucho peso allá atrás.
The cow is one of the limousine heifers that have been giving us trouble from day one on. They are very, very nervous, not really accustomed to being handled, and this one has also never been pregnant. The bull, on the other hand, we wanted to keep. He's very a nice guy, has learned a lot, but now that he's infected, his fate is pretty much sealed. If this goes unchecked, he will show symptoms in a while, and all the while he's around, everybody else will get sick too.
Pero una vez que vaya encima del camión, ahí ya ve mucha... Y nunca me ha pasado con nada, ¿no? Cuidado, pero por eso la primera. Sí, yo estoy ahora para suave, para Montudo, para la autovía.
As you can see, the cow is really bothering the bull with all her movement and nervousness. There's nothing happening, but that is how she is.
¡Oro! 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 ¡Oro!
Both animals have gone through that chute many times. There's absolutely no reason for them to believe that something bad might happen. They have no idea. They cannot have any idea. This is just another transfer. We've had another limousine cow, or it might be the very same one, who basically jumped against something and ripped their own horn off. That is how they are. The guys are now trying to put the cow in the other compartment. The bull needs to stay in the back because of the weight, so that the truck will not tip over.
Aquí llevan la guía de la mesa, y no han tocado el número de la
and now they are on their way. Angel and I will drive to the slaughterhouse in the next morning to see the process with our own eyes. I don't intend to film there, I have not asked them, and I will report what I see in a different way. But this is how it goes when you have animals that are tuberculosis positive. It was not our intention to drive them to the slaughterhouse at this point, but we have to. 2 days later, after a thorough inspection of the organs and the meat by the government veterinarian, the meat has been cleared for human consumption. It is not affected, there is absolutely no problem, but we have to be very clear, the animal had been infected with tuberculosis and would have presented symptoms later on. What you will see now is how we treat a very big wound that this cow has in her back. And I also have to say that we have not been trained in the cattle industry, nor do we have a farming background. We learn by observation and believe that nature has her way, and the natural way is always the best one. That means that here and there some unpleasantries happen, but then those are part of nature. We try to help where we can, and we try not to interfere too much. Some people on other channels have asked what we do, and the answer is we try to restore this part of the Spanish dehesa. We are not in the beef industry. We are not about figuring out how to make a quick buck or sell a product as soon as possible. We try to create abundance so that later on we can sell the surplus. In these videos I try to show how reality is. Here and there it might be unpleasant, but still this is how things are. So be aware of that for the following images. This wound in the first place was caused by flies. Flies find any wound in any animal and try to lay their eggs in there. Then the larvae appear, and the larvae will start eat the flesh in order to grow and become flies. Then the problem grows and grows. And now we have a lot more birds, and those birds are picking the larvae, which then makes this wound even bigger. So this is an ongoing problem, and we now need to stop it. The product Angel is using is called Corpal spray. It is a disinfectant and also kills larvae, so that the wound will be sanitized and there is no more little larvae eating the flesh.
Él dice que no tiene seguridad. Mira aquí el agujero ya como le baja. Que tiene huevos las cosas.
The poor cow has another hole there to the side, which gets the same treatment. And as you can see, the animal is pretty calm. As a human, this would hurt a lot. But in the case of the animals, pain is of a different kind than for us. We have consulted our veterinarian, and his recommendation was to fill up the wound with the grease. The same grease that we use to grease the excavator. This will dissolve over time. There's no harm to the animal. He said there's no guarantee that this will actually work, but at least it's an attempt, and it prevents the flies and the birds from getting in there, so that there is a much better chance of healing than without. The alternative would be to keep this cow in isolation. And that would also be cruel, because the cow is a herd animal and will suffer a lot when separated. As you can clearly see, the cow is not fixated. She's just standing there, and I would think she knows that we're trying to help.
si no le viene mal a la vaca, ¿no?
¿Eh?
La grasa si no le viene mal.
Pues no le vendrá mal.
On this side, the grease will certainly dissolve, and we likely have to repeat this several times. It would be great to be able to put a bandage on these wounds, but you cannot tell the cow not to scratch, so there is no other way.
Esto,
¿Ha sobrado grasa?
me sobra una poco.
¿Ya, Brusa?
That was it for today. Thank you for watching, and I hope the images of the wound were not too bad. Some people don't like to see these things, but it is reality and we all have to deal with it at some point or get out of the way. You can also see that we had been responding to a lot of urgent things, and therefore work on the project in itself has come a little bit to a standstill, but I hope that we will resume soon. Please come back in a few days to see how we continue.